Hello everybody, so welcome to today's video. This is another operating system install, and this one's a big one too. So today I'm going to show you how to install Mac OS X Big Sur onto a virtual machine. So let me get you over to my screen to get started. So first thing that you want to do is I know this is a mess here, but I'm gonna neaten this up and put it into the comments. So first thing you want to do is go to this website, and you want to download this ISO file, which as you can see is 16 gigs. So I already downloaded it, so we don't have to wait for that to download. And now the other complicated thing that we have to do, because Apple is very proprietary, when we have to make a new virtual machine, we have to set it up a certain way. So we're going to call this one, I'm just going to call it Apple. And of course it's going to be running Mac OS X. And we're going to do 64-bit. Now there's a couple things that we have to do here. We want to give it at least 8 gigs of RAM. Okay. And we're going to make a new hard drive. 20 gigs I think is kind of small because the installer is 16 gigs, so let's do 40 gigs to be on the safe side. And then once we created the Apple virtual machine, we have to go into settings and we have to change a couple things here. So we have to, okay, that's already set. Most important, we have to have enable EFI. Okay, we want to uncheck the floppy disk too, since we're not going to be using that. Processor, I'm going to max this out because because the operating system uses a lot of resources. And for the display settings, we're going to enable 3D acceleration, and we're going to max out the video RAM. Okay, everything else should be set. So I'm going to go to, actually let me show you how big this file is compared to the other installs that we've done. So let me go ahead and organize this by size. Okay, so it's smallest file on the top and largest file on the bottom. And as you can see, Mac OS Big Sur 11 is 17.2 gigabytes. And when you compare that to Windows 10 at 6.2, it's a very heavy operating system. So let's go ahead and attach that image to the, we gotta attach that CD to the virtual machine. Okay. So now that it's in there, we're gonna click OK. And we have to run a couple commands in the terminal before we can start this virtual machine. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a new terminal window opened here. And like I said, this is a mess, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it up for you. So, as you can see, in these, I have a variable here in these commands. And I did that to make it nice and easy in case you want to call your machine something different, because it does require the name. So what we're going to do first is we're going to type in capital V, capital M equals. And then we're going to type in Apple with a capital A. And where am I getting this Apple from? It's the name I created for the virtual machine. So we're setting that. So now if I do echo and then $ capital VM, it'll echo out that variable. So now we know it's set. So Now all we have to do is copy and paste this into the terminal here. Now we're going to press enter. So now that set everything that's required for the Apple operating system to run. So now we can go ahead and close out of that. So now we're going to go ahead and start the Apple virtual machine. Okay, and we have to, even though I already selected it, I have to choose it again for some reason. This is how the virtual machine is set up. Okay, why did it make it really wide like that? Let's make it so we can see it here. So anyway, this is going to take a while. It's going to have all this text scrolling up. And then that screen probably looks familiar to you, to the Apple users out there. So I'll put a timestamp in the comments if you want to skip past this screen. But for those of you that want to hang around, I'll let the video roll. Although I may have to actually pause it because this is one of those things where you're going to have to forget about it for a while and then come back to it, because it takes like a good 20 minutes or so to actually boot. And I don't know if I can keep you guys entertained that long, because first off, Apple's not really one of my favorite operating systems, so I don't really have much positive to say about it. But the reason I'm showing you is in case you do encounter an Apple computer and you want to learn how to install it. So anyway, this came up quicker than I expected. So we're going to stick with English here. Okay, now first thing, because it's a new install, we have to use the disk utility. And this is similar to gparted, or if you use Windows, it's similar to Disk Manager. It lets you partition your hard drive. So the one we're interested in here is VBox hard disk media. So we're gonna go ahead and click erase in the top bar here towards the right, and then you can type in a name. I'm just gonna type in app. It went away. Okay, so I'm just gonna type in Apple, and we're gonna click erase. Okay, so now we have a partition, APFS partition. So we're going to click done. So now we can go ahead and close out of here. And now we're going to go to install Mac OS Big Sur. So we're going to click on continue. Come on. Okay. So now this is like the normal install screen here. So you got to agree. And even though there's only one hard drive here, you can't click continue. You actually have to click on the hard drive and then click continue. First time I encountered installing an Apple operating system, I kept figuring out why it didn't say why continue wasn't highlighted, and then I eventually realized, yeah, I actually click on the picture of the hard drive. And the picture they use reminds me of those old quantum hard drives from many years ago, because the quantum hard drives used to have the heat sinks right here on the end, and then Maxtor took them over, and then Seagate bought Maxtor. It's a shame. Seagate used to be a good hard drive, 5-year warranty, and then once they bought Maxtor, they took the technology of the Maxtor hard drive and it kind of hurt them a little bit. Every Seagate that I encounter with data recovery always has a scratch platter, especially the laptop size 1 or 2 terabyte hard drives. Most of the time it's a scratch platter, and once the platter is scratched, you can't really do anything because that's where the data is stored. But if the platter is intact, and you can replace a head or replace some other parts on the hard drive, that's a better chance to recover it. But that's not part of this video. That's just a little tidbit of information that I have for you. Alright, so it says about 12 minutes. And so far it seems to be moving. It's probably going faster because the other computer I tested this on wasn't quite as powerful as this one. So it looks like it's doing a reboot now. Well, anyway, while we're waiting, if you want me to do a video on installing a specific operating system, feel free to mention that in the comments, and I'll go ahead and do that when I have free time to do so. I'm probably going to do a couple more I have planned. I'm going to do a Ubuntu installation and also a Linux Mint installation, because those are the most common operating systems people use when they want to switch away from Windows or Mac to another operating system. Alright, this one says 29 minutes. Just got a message from the wife. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pause this here, and I'll come back right when this progress bar is almost done. So you get to see the magic of fast installation here. So anyway, I'm still waiting for this operating system to install. It feels like it's been a lot longer than 20 minutes, but it's still going. So hopefully this will be much easier than doing the Hackintosh, because I've made a couple Hackintosh systems before, and there's a lot of steps you have to go through, and you have to install well, actually, first off, you need an Apple computer to actually get the software and set up the installer image, because the software is only available on Apple. So to have a Hackintosh, you have to have access to an actual Apple computer. But I don't have access to an Apple computer because I can't see spending $2,000 for a computer that is half as powerful as my cell phone. And this is my cell phone, by the way. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually talking about this one here. But Anyway, so the virtual machine should be more straightforward, and more things hopefully will work out of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and then we'll go back to, I'll resume it later if I come up with something else to discuss, or if the progress bar is almost finished here. But it's just like watching paint dry or grass grow. So I'm not going to put you through that torture. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now. See you soon. So anyway, it just rebooted. So I unpaused it so you can see the this reboot process here. So this is actually taking longer than usual, so it's probably making some configuration changes and preparing for the first boot. Can't hold your breath for this one, that's for sure. Actually, I think even Windows installs quicker than the Apple. One of these days I want to get to the actual hardware. So I'm gonna see if I can order a HDMI capture card, and also yeah, that way we can have I can show you how to go into the BIOS and adjust settings in the BIOS and things to that nature that you can't do inside a virtual machine, because all these operating system installs, they require you to go into the BIOS and set the boot priority, and possibly make some other configurations like master boot record and UEFI boot, because they have different boot methods, secure boot, all those different settings. So we'll have to get the real hardware so we can go through that. So anyway, this doesn't look like it's going anywhere too fast, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll pause it again, and I'll come back when it finally gets to a screen I can actually show you something. Okay, I'll see you later. Alright, so now we just got to the traditional Apple boot screen here. So the progress bar is almost finished, so we should be coming down the home stretch here. Oh, never mind. We're back to the we're back to this screen here. Alright, I'll see you soon. Alright, so we made it to the initial boot here, where we can choose our country. And because the operating system is so heavy, it's hard to operate the mouse. As you can see, it's not moving quite smoothly, but it does get better after this boot screen here. Okay, I think I have to use the keyboard. There we go. Whoop. United States. Okay, come on, let's get to the continue button. So if I move my mouse at a constant speed, oh, now it's making a liar out of me, but before it was really jumpy. Alright, so I'm going to hit customize settings here so you can see more details. So I'm going to keep it English. You can choose whatever you want. US. Okay. We're going to keep that English, US. Accessibility, I'm going to click Not Now. Data privacy. I wonder how private their data really is. Okay, they give you a whole list of stuff there. Well, anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that. You can read that later. Okay, so I'm going to click Not Now because we're not transferring anything. So, okay, I don't want to create an Apple ID. Up now the mouse is not moving right again. There we go. I'm going to set up later on the bottom left. Okay, and then I have to click Skip. Okay, agree. I have to click Agree again when it comes up. There it goes. Okay, my username. Yeah, let's capitalize America. Okay. So I'm going to make a password. The password hint is the same as the password. Yeah, I know, very secure. But this is just for demonstration purposes. After this, I'm not going to ever open up this virtual machine again unless there's another training video that I need to do that involves Apple. Okay, so I'm going to do customize settings again. Okay, usually I leave that disabled. And I'm going to click on Don't Use. Okay. This ought to be fun if the mouse is jumping around again. Man. Come on. Okay, I think this is our time zone here. Good enough. Alright, now I gotta try to click continue. Okay, and I usually uncheck all these options here. Okay, we're going to click Setup later. And I'm going to uncheck that so it's not listening all the time. Okay, continue. Already I can tell you, even though this operating system installation took so long, I probably could have brought my wife out to dinner and had a nice dinner and came back and we would still be waiting for it. This is a lot smoother than trying to do a virtual machine. So let's go ahead and eject this CD here. I right-clicked on it, but I don't want to right-click too much because it might be... Oh, there it goes. And I think there's something wrong with the resolution here. Yeah, I'm missing the bottom. Oh, there we go. There's a scroll bar. Okay, I have to adjust the resolution. I'll put a timestamp so you can bypass it, but I'm going to do this on video so you can see how I did that. Okay, so I got to open up the terminal command, and it'd help if I didn't put it over top of the okay, so first thing I'm gonna do, actually I don't have to do this anymore, I don't have to set the variable. Let's see if it retained it. Okay, no, it didn't retain that variable, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the last line that has the resolution on it, and I'm going to paste it into the terminal window. So I'm going to make it 1280 by 1024. I think that's a good resolution. Okay, and then I have to change VM to my virtual machine name, which is Apple with a capital A. But you'd have to set that to whatever you named yours. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and start it. It should be a reasonable resolution here. I still got a scroll bar. Did that make it better? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I still got a scroll bar, but it's not too bad. Okay, so I got to type in my password here. So this is the login screen. Wow, and I happened to pick a parrot as my icon. They could have picked a better wallpaper in my opinion, but I guess they picked this one for a reason. Okay, I'm going to make it a little smaller. Okay, so now at least we have the icons on the bottom here. The only thing is we do have to scroll up and down if you want to see the top. Okay. Since I already showed you how to change the resolution, I'm going to pause this video and then go back to it. Alright, so now we're at a different resolution here. This is 1024 by 768, which is a good size so we can see both the top and the bottom. So what I usually do on an Apple install is I go to Preferences, and I usually check all four of these boxes so that way it shows all the icons on the desktop. I do the same thing with Windows too, because for some reason both Microsoft and Apple decided to remove all the icons from the desktop, and I'm kind of old school that way. I like icons all over the place, except I don't like them covering the entire screen. Alright, so now we got our hard drive here, so I can go in there and access the files if I so choose to. So here we'll check about this Mac. So it's Mac OS Big Sur version 11. So it shows a processor. It shows it's an iMac, but actually it's not. It's a virtual machine. So 8 gigs of RAM. Well, the display says 3 megabytes, so it's probably not recognizing what I've updated in the virtual machine. But at least it works on 3 megabytes of video card RAM. So 42 gig hard drive that we set before. So it recognizes as one slot. Okay. So that's that. Let's see if we have internet here. Feel like I'm using a mechanical hard drive here. Okay, it looks like we're online. I mean, it's a little bit sluggish, but if you needed to run like one program that you can't run on Linux or Windows, at least maybe you can tolerate it enough to run that one particular program. Move to trash, why not? Okay, let's quit Safari. So now I'm gonna show you how to put the Brave icon on the on this bottom bar here. So we're gonna go to first I went to Finder, and then I went to Applications, and I apologize if I go too fast. So I'm gonna click and hold the mouse button down and move that Brave browser right to the bottom here. So now we have it on the bar. We don't have to go into the Applications folder to open it. Okay, so there's a notification. Okay, that might be a glitch for the virtual machine. So yeah, I think there's some. I know Brave browser works on Apple computers, but this might be because the virtual machine, it might have some trouble loading it. Okay, so we can go. I'll show you the control panel here. So you can change your desktop screensavers. Let's see if we have audio. Okay, that's probably what we're going to be missing if you plan to do it through the virtual machine, is the audio. However, if you try to do the Hackintosh, you might have to do this a few times, install it, change settings, reinstall, change settings, reinstall. It's kind of a tedious process. And you might get the audio to work, but maybe the Ethernet port doesn't work, or you might get the Ethernet port working, but maybe a wireless card. You know, there's always something that doesn't work with it, so I think it's just because it's not designed to be run on virtual machines or computers other than Apple computers, since it is a proprietary operating system. So anyway, this concludes the installation of the Apple operating system in the virtual machine. So one thing I do often is, by default, when you shut down the Apple computer, this checkbox here is usually checked. I always uncheck it, because if you have a whole bunch of programs open and you just hit shutdown, when you turn the computer back on, it could reopen all those programs again. And I've had cases where certain programs would crash the computer, and if you shut it off and you don't think to uncheck this checkbox, the next time you boot it up, it'll reload all those programs, and if it reloads that program that causes it to crash, then you're going to have to do this again and remember to uncheck the checkbox here. So anyway, I like a fresh, clean boot when I turn the computer on. So this is the shutdown procedure. Okay, that's it. Hopefully you learned something from this video, and you enjoy the rest of your day, and good luck with all your projects.